All right, welcome to Lesson 4 lecture, and hope you've been enjoying the class so far. We've got a lot of great things to talk about today. The first one is let's talk about your responses from yesterday's journal article submission, I should say. Congratulations to the majority of you that answered correctly to my journal question. It was, in fact, the voice. Now, let's do a quick experiment. I want you to put your hand on your Adam's apple, and if you'll see my little picture right here, this is where the Adam's apple is, right on your throat. And I want you to swallow and feel it move. Your Adam's apple is in front of your voice box, and your larynx or your voice box is what contains your vocal cords. As air passes by your vocal cords, they vibrate and make a sound. Now I want you to hum, and no one's listening. I can't even hear you, remember? And I want you to feel your throat vibrate. The vocal cords are not cords, but muscles. And as you sing higher, the muscles thin out, and as you sing lower, you guessed it, they get thicker. So that's your little quiz question today on the throat. And all right, let's go on here. Okay, so today's lesson we're going to talk about some key vocabulary words. A motet is a composition that is a sacred text. Remember, that's from the church. That's either sung or unaccompanied. Polyphony, we're going to talk about that. Homophony and antiphony, we're going to talk about all three of those terms today. Texture is the element of music that describes the depth, nature, and relationship among the different musical voices. So that's kind of when you put a whole bunch of different fabrics together, that's how you're creating a texture. So I think of it in fabric terms. And harmony, that's the combination of notes when you hear them simultaneously. All right. Let's go on to Gregorian chant today. Now, Gregorian chant, at the end of the 6th century, the Occidental Christian song was reformed by Pope Gregory. Here's a picture of him right there. He collected a number of numerous melodies and revised them and then assigned them to the parts of the Mass. And remember, there were those 6 parts of the Mass. He gave some very specific times in the Mass in the calendar, because the Catholic Church is all about the calendar. And this became the music of the Roman Catholic Mass, depending on what time of year it was. Gregorian chants are sung by soloists or a choir of singers and set to a free recitative manner, and we're going to talk about that in a minute. Meaning that just as plain chant, the rhythm is set by the syllables of the words, not by the length of the note. Most of the text was in Latin, and most of the songs were based about biblical stories. All right, now, there was only one instrument that was heard, for the most part, in the church, and that was either the voice or the organ. This was, at the time, the only approved instrument allowed at the church. And I'm going to go on here to show you about the organs that were found in the church. The first organs were called hydrolysis, and the way they worked was with water and the pressure of the water flowing through the bellows. And as you can see, there's this is the water wheel here, and it was pushed through here so that the sound would go out the pipes. The positive organ was operated by air pressure. And then, of course, came the portative, and that was a more portable organ and could be played just by one person. So the organs prior to this were having to be played by multiple people to run the water or to run the air, and then all of a sudden came the portative. And as you can see, the lady playing here, she can use her hand to pump the air into the organ and use the other hand to actually play the organ itself. All right, let's go on really quick to free recitative manner. And in Renaissance music, we used different textures in compositions, and there were 3 different textures: polyphony, homophony, and antiphony. Polyphony is the voices start one after another, kind of like a round, and continue to overlap in waves of running melodies. This is where the different voices would sing together or show some kind of a movement. Now, Homophony is when different voices sing together and show unity. So as you can see, there's just that one block. So you might hear a lot of different voices, but they're all singing the same thing. And then antiphony, that's where the word bounces back and forth between the voices, giving an exciting lift to the sound. So today's activity, I want you to take a minute and go listen to Handel. And it's not the Handel from the Baroque period, it's Handel from Renaissance music. And you'll be able to hear a little bit of all three types of recitative manner. Have a great day.